Alright guys, I got a chance here to work on the manure spreader. Got back to it sooner than I thought. These teeth here, some of them are about split, broke part of them off. Some of them, like this one here, you probably can't tell in the video, it's just wore down, and I think that's what I'm going to have to weld up. Got the little flux core wire and that little Miller wire welder there. Works. I've never welded cast with it before, but Dad said it works alright on cast. So that's a cast sprocket there. But I was just going around and putting a little bit of a mark where I marked these, but then once I put the light on them, it didn't look too bad. So it's really only when you're running it real slow, like where it would only be taking 1 or 2 teeth at a time. So I don't know, maybe it just gets stuff stuck in it. I haven't got all the way around the sprocket yet though, looking at it, so I'm gonna see. I'm hoping I find a couple of them that are really beat up, because then I can just speed it up. Now, see, there's one where it looks like it got some stuff stuck in it, so maybe that is just what's happening. But we'll weld a few of them up and try it. There's one that's pretty bad. That one is probably jumping on that one. That one there is pretty wore out. Put a mark to come back to that one. So I'll probably just weld it up and then take the grinder and kind of whittle it out. Yep, there's one that's been busted off there. That's more what I remember, kind of the problem. Ain't too bad there. Yeah, I can put a spot weld or 2 on there. We're going to see how this goes. I don't know, I'm going to have to use a bunch of solvent here or carb cleaner and clean this up, get all the grease out of it so it'll make a halfway decent weld. Yeah, and here's the bad spot. Yeah, I don't know what happened here, if it sat for a while and rusted or something, but a bunch of nasties in this spot. Bad one. Huh. Holy cow, this thing do run on. Okay, there you can see how wore out this thing is. This old manure spreader, the Amish owned it, and I like the Amish, but they can be pretty hard on stuff. And they just beat the crap out of it. We only give $900 for the spreader, but it's been beat up pretty well. It works good. We finally, got it up and running in better mechanical shape, but the time we were needing one and it was close to home, and I'm still trying to figure out how the Amish are using a PTO driven manure spreader on one of them power units. You can see there how much that we got. It's wore them teeth down 1/16 of an inch. I might call the Agco dealer and just price that thing, if it's $150. I don't know. It'd probably be like $400 so. I don't want to spend that kind of money on it. It is a good manure spreader. It does a nice job spreading. But I'll come back to you here in a little bit. Okay, I got the first set of teeth welded up here. You can see these, that one's got a little porosity. I welded that one, no. That one, and that one. Those 3. I thought they turned out alright. You can see there, they've got the height back to them anyways. They ain't busted off anymore. Got that in there, and then I got these two here to weld up. I priced this gear because I thought maybe some of them are kind of looking kind of bad, but they ain't too bad yet. I'd price the gear, and I think I said maybe jokingly it'd be $400 yesterday when I was filming. I called down there, and it turns out it was actually $600 for that gear. So, like, yeah, no, I ain't gonna do that. I can piddle with it for several hours, welding the teeth up on it, and for no more than I use it, it'll last me a while. I figure this gear has probably lasted 50 years, so I can do that. But anyway, I'm just going along, and the ones that are real broke, I'm going to weld on them. So today I'm going to cheat and use the auto hood. Never, if you're ever welding on stuff, never ground. Like, since I'm grinding here, this just got bushings in it, but even if it had bearings, either way, you wouldn't want to ground to something on the frame. You always want to ground to the part you're welding to, because otherwise it'll actually arc weld as it jumps across the gap there. It could arc weld the bearings solid, or bushings, or whatever you're doing, and at the very least it's going to pit them and ruin them pretty good. And you'll get, you'll be going down, and 20 minutes later all of a sudden all the bearings will go out that were in the path of, from where you were welding to, say if I was welding here and I had it grounded up here, it'd go through these bearings before it got up to here, and it'd just take all that stuff out. I've seen or heard of people, grounding to like an axle shaft on a tractor and then welding something else, and then it ends up taking bearings out in the transmission and stuff because it had to go through there to get to wherever you were welding at. You always ground to the spot where you're welding. Well, I'm at the take the lenses out of these glasses. Can't see very well with them on. Come on. First pass, just kind of get everything burned out of there, the grease, clean it out the best you can. But those of you who don't know this hood, it automatically lightens. Because I got these glasses on. Can't see very well, that's why I keep lifting it up. That one wasn't too bad of a pass. Yep. So it'll go out here in a minute. I think I got enough weld on that. I can grind that one back out now. I about lost a chunk out of that wheel there. Better get a new wheel, that thing's falling apart. Got a little one here. Kind of grind sideways there where I'm using this face to grind them off instead of out here. They don't last very long, but I need that thin wheel to be able to get in there and get the right cut on it. Grinding the backside's the hard part. Don't look half bad there. Yeah, I like that. Well, I'll go ahead and grind that one. I don't want to have a terribly long video for you guys to sit here and just watch me run a grinder. So, alright, I think I about got all of them welded. There might be, I started about right in here somewhere and I've gone around. There might be one more in here, but I can't remember. I'll roll around and look. But this is the bad spot. I had 3 that I welded up right here and ground down, and then I got these 4 here that I welded up for 3.5, and let it cool off a second, and I'm going to grind it up. It always seems to grind a little better after it's cooled off a little bit. But I think that's getting close to being done on it anyways. I'll have about 4 hours in it by the time I was done, but charged $35 an hour if I'm working on someone's piece of equipment, so it's $120, $140 that I potentially lost. I could have made or saved $600 by buying a new sprocket, so definitely money ahead here. Luckily, on these old New Idea manure spreaders, parts are kind of expensive for them. At least I've never compared them to, an old John Deere spreader or New Holland spreader or anything. But everything though that I have priced or bought for it, at least has still been available. So that's worth something right there. Might be a little more money, but it's still available on the old spreaders. So. Always good, but I'll come back to you here after I get it ground up. Alright, got them all welded up and put back together here. Show you what we got going on. That lever, this is the deal there that keeps the chain from creeping back when it twists. And then this one up here is the one that moves it, and that plate right there, when you move that linear actuator, it moves that so that it'll go this way. If you want a faster chain speed, and this way will stop the chain. And it makes it to where that cog right there doesn't grab the teeth, depending on how many teeth it grabs. This is just about as slow as it'll go. And it takes a couple of teeth at once. And this is about the chain speed you want for the heavy manure on the cattle manure. If I got it, stacked up a ways where it's probably piled up to here, so you can see it's not moving very fast, but if it gets all packed together, that's about all at once right there. Which I'm sure you'll see some of that I'm spreading the cattle manure. Then go up here and move that thing all the way over, and that's full bore here on the chain speed. That's about where I run it for that horse manure, all the way open. You can see that piece drop down then, and it's taking a lot more teeth as it goes around. There's a spot, I probably had 15 teeth in there. I had to at least put a spot on welding. you can see it moves that piece up to where it can't even get a hold of any teeth and stop. So right about do it for the manure spreader here. So I don't know if I'll do any spreading this week or not. But anyway, so thanks for watching.